Welcome to another episode of the Cripple Talk podcast. I'm your host, Roland O'Brien. Let's get into it. I want to give a huge thanks to all of you who have been listening. I really appreciate it. I'm excited. I'm glad everyone's liking it. Hopefully, I can keep making everyone happy and we can just keep getting this thing to go in a good direction. And if you guys have any ideas or anything, don't feel free to comment. Let me know what you guys might want to see differently. Maybe, any ideas that you guys might have. On today's episode, we're going to be answering some of your guys' questions. So let's hear them. First, I want to give a huge thanks to everyone that's been watching and following along. I really appreciate it. I love your guys' feedback. It's been awesome. I hope I can just keep making everyone smile, laugh, learn a thing or two. And if you guys have any ideas or some thoughts, some things that you want to see, you want to hear, leave a comment. Let me know. I'd be glad to go along with it, see what we can and can't do. And you guys are probably noticing the hat I'm wearing right now. I want to give a huge shout out to Stellar Designs. Got our Cripple Talk design on it. It's awesome, turned out great. So I want to give a huge thanks to Stellar Designs for getting these made. They made us this blue and a black color too. They're my favorite type of hats, the classic, the tall fitting hat or tall sitting hats. I like those. But I really just want to give a huge thanks for their support in making these hats. It turned out great. If you guys are interested in getting your own hats made for maybe a business or your, just a few friends or something like that, they do a great job. Not just this style of hat, they do all kinds of other, different styles, hats. I'll have their Instagram link and their Facebook link down in the description. So if you guys want to, you guys you guys check them out, and hopefully you guys send my man Zach some business. And then I also want to give another huge shout out to two girls and their mom for their support. Their local little boutique growing online. They also made us some hats. They turned out great as well. Just can't get enough. I wear them almost every day. Their quality is top notch. Loved it. So thank you guys for all your help and for making us some really cool hats. And if you guys are interested in maybe getting some of these hats, let me know. We didn't get a lot made for this first time because obviously I want to see your guys' feedback, see if you guys like them. And if you guys are interested, we can make more and sell them or whatever. So you guys leave a comment down or DM me and just say hats. And then I'll know if you guys are interested in buying some hats, and then we can get some more made. All right. So let's hear some questions from you guys. I'm excited. Let's get into it. It should be fun. All right. First question. It's from a boy who's overseas right now. Actually, a little backstory. So me and him have been friends. AP. His real name's Austin Purvis, but AP. Anyway, so me and him have been friends, and him and my brother had been friends for years. And then 2 years ago, I'd say, or maybe a year ago, found out that we're actually cousins. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, what is the one thing that you didn't think about when the accident happened? I'd say one thing that I didn't think about when the accident. Well, first, I didn't think that people stayed in hospitals as long as I did. Like, I didn't think that was a thing. I thought, what, maybe a week, 2 weeks. I didn't know people stayed in there for like months. But I think another thing that I didn't think about, didn't think that I would lose my arms, or not my arms, but like my hand function. That was something I never would have guessed and ever. So Yeah, I mean, now there's a few other things that I guess I didn't think about when it happened. Like one, I don't know. I didn't think I didn't the all of it. I guess I didn't think a lot of it would happen. A lot of the things that I went through didn't know. I mean, I didn't know a lot because one, I'd never not versed in hospitals and people getting hurt and stuff like that. So the stuff that came with it. And I didn't know I'd keep my eyes closed the whole time. Didn't know that. So that was odd. Next question is Ray Lewis versus 25 gorillas. Well, if those gorillas are on offense, I think Ray Lewis has a chance. Um, but I don't know, 25 gorillas, I don't know, man. How big are they? Are they like 195? So if they're 195, then I think Ray Lewis got him. He's got him beat. I don't know though. As long as they don't have a football in their hands, then they're the gorillas. But if they get a football, ooh, Ray Lewis is coming down hard. Okay. Well, this is a good one. So we've got, how has the accident affected my faith and relationship with God? Well, I think a lot of people, just naturally question the, why. But for me, I never really did. So, not saying that I'm like this great person or, like, oh, I didn't ask why. I'm better than whatever. No, that's just what happened. I just didn't. But I think the way it affected my faith was, it was like, okay, now you got a mission. Now you have a job. Before, what were you doing? You were kind of coasting, with my faith and stuff like that. Just kind of like, oh yeah, yeah, I believe in Jesus and all that stuff. But now it's kind of like, now I don't. I'm more driven by it. It's definitely what helped. It's definitely what has helped my my mental game. Without it, I don't think I I wouldn't be where I am right now, to be honest with you. But it's so I mean, I guess I got a little testimony. Uh Whenever it happened, the accident happened, I had this overwhelming sense of calmness, such a chaotic time that I knew he was with me. So it was, with all the chaos that was going on, I felt very comforted. Uh it was like a feeling, that I've never had before. So I knew immediately. I knew immediately. It wasn't anything, but it was, God was with me, and it was like I smile because it was such a warm, feeling of just, like I said, just this comfort and this joy within such a chaotic time. Um, and it's really transformed the way I work, uh, the way I carry myself. Uh, I'm I try to knock myself down a peg, because it, whenever, if I ever think of the why me, it's because, like, I'm thinking why me in terms of, so how do I glorify you? How do I make this situation for God? Like, whenever I do these podcasts, I'm not really doing it for me. Uh, I try and do it for anyone else, someone else who may be wanting a laugh, or someone wanting to learn something, or maybe they're going through their own journey. And, maybe I can help with that. But the way it's affected my relationship is it's gotten a lot stronger. Um, I've decided that, okay, I might not be, or I might not, quote unquote, do the things a man can do physically, but I can do what the things a man's supposed to do spiritually, right? I still have control over that. So that's kind of how it's affected, my day to day, and my mentality is I feel as though my situation is, so people might look as me and they might think I'm going through like a struggling time, or maybe suffering, I don't know, but that they can see hopefully God's light, because they see me, and I try, and hopefully, I'm doing all the right things for God. I'm uh out in public, I'm shown as a representation of him, to where people can see it. Man, he's got, a strong faith, and he's going through that, whatever, maybe that can help them in their journey with God. So that's really how I look at it. I look at it as, how can I help others with their journey, right? And I'm you to me, believer or not believer, you can't read the Bible and not be somewhat fascinated by it, because of the stories that are in it. So it's just like, uh it's you can't you can't not be interested by it, I guess, if you really look into it, whether you're a believer or not. I mean, n- if you aren't, hey, no shame on your game. I'm not out here coming at nobody. But no, I really love this question, because it had such a positive effect on my relationship, versus what, you know, others may think. It actually drove me closer. And it's not because I'm looking for a miracle or anything. I think the miracle is that I'm able to do this, right? I'm able to, you know, touch other people, people that I might have never met before. So, yeah, I love that question. Anyway, okay. Uncle Dale. If you guys don't know who Dale is, there's something wrong with you. Okay? I mean, if you don't know Dale Brisby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. Okay? You guys go check him out on YouTube. Dale Brisby. Rodeo Time. Been watching him since I was a freshman. So, like in 2015. So, a little funny backstory. Uncle Dale. I call him Uncle Dale. Why? I don't know. I just started doing it. Anyway, so I've been following him since I was since I was 15. So about pretty much 2015. Uh, I've been watching him for so long, and then when my accident happened, my brother sent, I don't know, he either sent a video or something, and DM'd Dale Brisby, and Dale responded. And ever since then, uh, me and him have talked here and there and stuff, and hopefully soon I can get up to his place up there in Texas. Old Florida boy going to Texas, and maybe me and him can have a sit down, little talk, little chat, and let you guys see it. I might fangirl a little bit, but don't tell him. Uh, anyway, so I just thought that, and he checks up, and it's just like that guy. I haven't even met him. Don't even have to. I mean, he's a great guy. It was crazy, not just me, but the way see my family like even they were like, wow, it's really cool. Um, so I can't wait to have him on the podcast. And then one of my bucket list places to go is Texas, because I love that lifestyle, and it's just there's just not a whole lot of it here, and Texas is just that's kind of what it's known for, um, especially now because I mean there's not a whole lot of other cowboy towns anymore, sadly. Uh, but Yeah, when is Dale Brisby coming on the pod? Soon. Sooner than later. Okay? You guys don't worry. But you guys go check him out. Dale Brisby on YouTube. He's also got a podcast, Rodeo Time Podcast. It's funny. It's great. Anything you want to learn anything too about ranching and cowboying and rodeoing, he's your man. That's the place to go. So you guys give it a check out. So you guys can maybe get a little background. But we'll have him on soon, so I'm excited about that. We'll be in Texas. That'll be exciting. Uh, Next question. Can you do a wheelie in your wheelchair? Yes, I can, but I shouldn't. Let me tell you why. Well, first, let me start with this. So I have wheelie bars on the back of my wheelchair just to help if you ever pop, because sometimes you got to get over bumps and stuff like that, and the wheelie bars are there to make sure you don't flip backwards. Well, I had gotten into this groove or this comfortability of popping a wheelie and resting on those wheelie bars. And I mean, I was doing that all the time, whatever, no fear in the world. Until one morning, it was the morning after my sister's high school graduation. I had to get pulled through the grass at her graduation. So I had to flip the wheelie bars up. And so the next morning, we're getting ready, and she's, or I'm getting ready. I'm sitting in my wheelchair. I go to pop one. Well, I end up falling all the way back, slamming my head on the ground. Luckily, it was on the ground in our house, so it wasn't any concrete or anything. Hit my head so hard, I couldn't feel my arms for a while. So I was like, oh gosh, I thought spinal cord injury all over again. I thought, well, there goes the whole time of me trying to get the strength back in my arms because now they're gone. So now, whatever, freaking out. I mean, I think I freaked out about that more than I did the actual accident. Then my arm started coming back. We had to get me back in the bed. Then back on the chair. Man, so yes, I can do wheelies, but I don't anymore because I have that respectful fear of slamming my head on the ground. Now Parker will do them, and she's also fallen before too. So would I recommend doing wheelies in your wheelchair? No. Are they cool? Yeah. But I just don't think I recommend another, or a concussion or anything like that because they're not fun. I'm pretty sure I had one after that because that whole day it was I was real, my head, I'd get headaches, the lights were real sensitive to lights, so it wasn't a good day. Um, your boy was concussed a little. I'd say it's stage one concussion. What's it like writing now and when you have to sign your name? Oh, so I don't really do a whole lot of writing because I can do everything on the iPad, type it out. They have the dictation thing where you just talk and text. So I don't really have to write a whole lot anymore. It's really rare when I do. Um, Now it is different because I obviously can't just grab a pencil or pen or whatever like before. Um, The only time I do have to write is if I have to sign my name on something, uh, which is mostly for like doctor's appointments. I mean, what else? I mean, that's really the only thing. Maybe like a check. Not that you boys write too many of those because I don't have much to cash. Okay? We're still on that Social Security. We'll get off of it though. We'll get a job. Yeah, I don't have to write too much anymore. But when I do, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can show it. But I just have to weave the uh, pen or pencil between my, my. I have to weave it between my fingers to where it's just a straight line down. Sorry for all the commotion, but it's just a straight line down, and then I, sign like this, whatever. But um, so that's a little bit challenging. I can't just put it in my hand and write. I have to weave it through my fingers, and now they make these like rubber things that go over the pens, and it's like foam, and it's bigger. But the only problem is I don't get a good grip on it, so it's just better for me to weave the pen between my fingers for me to write. But um, so that's how that works. But I don't really write too much, so I don't really worry about it a whole lot. And I mean, everything's on iPads and laptops now anyway, so I don't really have to write a whole bunch. So yeah, that's how that works. What does a beach trip look like for you now? Oh, okay. This is cool because we were um at the beach not too long ago. We went to Brunswick, Georgia. Yeah, I know we're in Florida. We could have gone to any of those beaches, but honestly, I'm not a beach guy. Even before the accident, wasn't a real big beach guy. That's not me. If we're going to be some water, let's go on a lake. Okay? You're not going to really get sand in the places that are, not wanted. As much as you are at the beach. Plus the salt water, you feel weird. You feel, salty like a cracker. But you don't feel that way at a lake. Okay? Plus, I'd rather swim with alligators and sharks. So that's another thing. But the beach trips, so since we've only been one time, I wouldn't say we're an expert at it, but the beach in Georgia was really cool. So I'll probably insert a pic of the chair thing that I was on. But it's pretty cool. It's just like I don't know, like a regular chair thing and what they did was they just had a metal frame that they like tack welded to this chair to the frame, and then it was three wheels, so two on the side, so basically on the sides where my hips were, and then just one wheel in the front, that was on a swivel. And so what it did was I sat in the chair and then my feet were propped up. So I just sat in that, and it had like, some, I can't remember if it had like floaty arms on it. I don't think it did. But anyway, so it could go in the beach, in the water. You could push it in the water, and it'll float. And then it's easy to push through the sand. So that was really cool. And the coolest part of it was that you didn't have to rent it. Like you didn't have to pay to rent it. Um, I, Majority of the beaches that I found here in Florida, you have to rent those chairs, which is kind of ridiculous. It's like, why? And I mean, I guess it might make sense, but like maybe like $20 for the day. But for like New Smyrna Beach, it's like $200 and you have to rent it for 2 days. What? Like that's ridiculous. So I mean, now does it hurt my feelings that I'm not going to pay that money and never go there. No, I don't care. But, you know, I think that's stupid because what if there's people around here in Florida, they love going to the beach and, they have a injury and the only way for them to do it, if they don't have a track machine, that the only way for them to go is to get on one of these and they've got to pay a ridiculous amount of money. I think that's stupid, but I guess who am I? So, yeah, that's one thing that sucks about the beach is some places they don't offer it for one for free and two like there's like a such a high price on the how much they are to rent. I mean, if people have track chairs too, uh, which those are they're powered wheelchairs, but they have the track like excavator, skid steer tracks on the side versus wheels, so you can pretty much go through any terrain. But the only problem with those is that you can't really get in the water because the batteries sit so low. So that's the other cool thing about these chairs that they have at the beach is that you can majority of them, from what I know, is you can push them into the water. So if you're hot, you just go right in the water and they'll float. So, but anyway, it's a normal. You plan it normally. At least we did. We planned it normally. I mean, first look up. You got to look ahead, but you just call ahead and say, hey, you know, you just have to plan it that way. Call ahead, see what kind of accessibility stuff they have. Make sure they have a ramp. Um, because some places just have like the steps down, and obviously, I mean, you could push your injured friend or family member down the steps, but I mean, they might not like it. So I don't know. You might want to ask them first if they'd like to be pushed down some stairs. Me personally, I don't know. It might hurt a little bit, you know. So I don't think I'd want to be pushed down some stairs. But you ask them, they might feel different. I don't know. Um. So yeah, you call ahead, see if they've got those chairs, and make sure hopefully they're open to the public. Um, and then see what time you can get there to reserve it and all that stuff. And then and then the other thing is finding like I said, an accessible ramp to get down to the beach if it's not just on the beach. Um and then other than that, you just plan. It's just like a normal, regular beach trip. I mean, you bring all the stuff you want to bring, and then maybe have more than just two people. It'd probably be better to go with like a group because if you're gonna bring a tent, some other chairs for the person that's with you, and then all your whatever you're gonna bring to eat and drink and all that stuff. So I'd probably a group of people would be nice. So just so then you guys can all help each other carry the load, especially because if you're gonna be carrying that, and then one person's gotta help push the other person because you can't really. If you're the one in the chair, you can't push those chairs on your own. They're not like regular wheelchairs, the where to where you can push. So you'd have to have someone else push. So I would plan it that way of having maybe a group of people. Plus, it'd probably be more fun to have a group of people go than just two people. I don't know. So that's that's how I would plan that. I would like to talk with you guys about um what's been going on with me. Been a lot going on. Uh, the last week, 2 weeks have actually been some exciting weeks for me. Uh, I got to drive for the first time. That's right, boy, was on the roads. You guys didn't know that because I didn't crash into anything yet. And all I did was just drive around the neighborhood anyway, so wasn't anything big, but I mean, I'm excited. Uh because I have not gone this long without driving since before I got my license. So that's a long time. It felt good to be back driving. So the way they have it hooked up is, obviously it's all adapted it wasn't tailored to me because it was just an evaluation, trying to figure out, what kind of technology I'm gonna need, which arms are stronger to do what. So, like I said, it wasn't tailored to me, but still, it was kind of like a play and go thing. Uh, we were just, it was awesome. I'm excited. Hopefully, I can have the technician that helped me. We can have her on. She can kind of talk more about, their company and what they provide for not just spinal cord injury people, but any other people with disabilities when it comes to that they might have, and that would help them, you know, that they could help add for them to be able to drive and be able to be more independent on their own. So that's really cool. I'm sure we'll have her on. She's really cool. Uh, got along with her great. But yeah, I mean, I was super excited. I was stoked. Just and really excited too because I've been having a little trouble. I want a truck, obviously. I'm not. Do you really see me in a minivan driving? No. Yeah. So we were a little worried about the truck situation about, well, can I get a truck and can they adapt it the way that I need it to be adapted? Um, because, you know, I I don't know anything about this and there's not a lot of people around in the area I'm in, that have injuries and that I could really reach out to and talk to. Um, so and the engineer that I spoke to really he did not like the idea of me having a truck. I don't know why. Um, so that's that was good news to hear that, yeah, everything that they can do or everything that I'll need for when it comes to driving, they can do to a truck. So that's awesome. Um, so anyway, the truck, I'm really excited about that. But the driving thing, it was not what I expected. It was I got in with the I got in the minivan or the car and we're trying on all these different things, seeing what will work, seeing, how much resistance I can handle in the steering because they have different levels of like steering assist. I was on 0%, so I mean it was like, just whipping it around. So that was really cool that they can do that. And that's just like the cake topper of the things that they can do for people with injuries. I mean, it's insane what they can do. She was telling us about how she has helped people, that they're like double amputee with their arms, so that all they have are their, legs and stuff. And she was telling us about how they were able to help that person drive with just her feet. Like it's crazy. The way I was set up was with the tri pin for the steering wheel with my left hand, and then a electric gas and brake with my right. So what that does is it's another tri pin mechanism that just plugs into the dash because they've already had it set up. So it plugs into the dash, or not the dash, but under the console of the driver's seat, and you push forward for gas, pull back for brake. The reason why you push forward for gas is because, like with my level of injury, you don't have as much strength, so that means that you're not gonna have to worry about pushing real hard and slamming on the gas and just taking off. It helps you ease into it and go into to speed a lot more controllable, a lot slower, safer, all that stuff. And then pulling back is a brake because when you pull back, you have more strength. It uses more of your bicep. So, it's more important to stop than it is to go. So, but, when we got in there and I'm, feeling it or whatever, she's like, okay, let's just go. I was like, are you sure? You trust me that I don't know if I trust me. I was a little nervous. Okay. But it didn't matter. It was just like, since I have my dominant hand when it came to driving was always my left hand. I think it was because one, I'm left-handed dominant, and two, the way I started learning how to drive is with a stick shift. So, your right hand is doing all that other stuff. So you you don't really get as much time to drive with your right hand. So that was really nice to just still have that comfortability of using the same arm for steering. So that was pretty easy. Um, but I'd say the hardest thing was me looking to the right because I'm more limited in my, the way my head turns to the right versus my left. So, and you can't really turn when your arms are locked in like that. You can't really, turn all the way. So that was a little bit harder seeing stuff to my right, but I mean, I could still see. And then, whenever would be at a stop sign and I'd look to the right, I would just, be real cautious when I'm turning right or anything like that. And then, but other than that, I mean, it went great. It was weird. My arms started getting a little tired after because I haven't used that muscle in so long. So, I didn't realize like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to do some like conditioning for this. But I'm excited. And then I was able to back out. Was like, you know what? Let me try and back up in the driveway. So I asked her, I was like, hey, can I back up? She's like, oh yeah, do whatever. So I was like, okay, you got it. So I start going, and the bumps kept causing my arm to pull back. So that would slam on the brake. So she's in there like we're both in there like, just slamming our heads, whatever, giving her each other some whiplash. But we did it, and it went great. I'll be doing like 10 to 20 hours of practice in the near future. I have to get that scheduled. We're going to be doing some practice, and then hopefully I'll build up some strength and all that stuff. And then right after, I have to go take another. It's like just a whole new driving test because they want to make sure that you're a safe driver, that you can do it. But anyway, so that was great. I'm really excited. This is kind of ironic though. So for you guys that don't know, I'm a Ford guy. Okay, I've always driven Fords except for one time I had a Toyota. I have nothing bad to say about Toyota, but I've been a Ford guy, and my dad's that way. My brother, like we've just always been Ford guys. Well, it's kind of ironic that I will be driving a Chevy because it turns out that Ford does not do the conversions, or at least the companies that pay pay for the conversions to go into the vehicles. They don't deal with Ford, so I'll be driving a Chevy. You boys gonna be in a Chevy. Nowadays there's not much of a difference in them. Maybe the body style, but then again, they're still they can be pretty close in certain type of vehicles that Ford and Chevy make. So, but either way, and Chevy's also, I've noticed, a lot more cheaper than Ford. So I'm not against saving some dollars. Okay. But I thought that was funny. I've always been a Ford guy, and now I'm going to be a Chevy man. But hey, as long as I'm going to be driving again, it can do everything I want to do in it, and I'm saving money. I'm not going to complain. Okay? I'm not going to complain. I'll be grateful. We're going to be grateful, guys. So that happened. Got to drive again for the first time. Then coming up to this weekend that just passed, went hunting up there in JEA, Georgia, with my brother. He's practically my brother. Okay. Old Bubby Logan took me up there. We had a lot of fun. I took the track machine. We went up to his hunting camp that they've got up there in Georgia. And we weren't really sure how this was going to go. I mean, I have not, I haven't shot a gun because I can't. So for me to shoot a gun, that's a whole process in its own. Okay. We didn't know if I'd fit in a blind. So it was a lot of, and that's what a lot of this injury is just, playing around and trying to find things that fit, and adapting to, I want to do this thing. How do we adapt it for me to be able to do it? But so we get up to his hunting camp and first sight in the gun because got to make sure that's on point, and got it sighted in. And then I was like, let's practice setting up. Let's, we'll practice me looking down the sight and then, pulling the trigger and just getting a feel. So when the time comes, if the time comes, we can do it, make sure we did it right. Well, we didn't really practice, like probably could have practiced a little bit better. But anyway, so I lined it up, tried to figure out how I can hold it in the right spot, see, and try not to move too much and pull the trigger and, see how all that felt. So we did that twice. I was like, okay, we'll call it good. Well, first night or first evening, didn't see nothing. Nothing. And now, mind you, like the blind we're in, with me in the track chair fit perfectly. He still had enough room to sit right beside me. And the tripod, like it worked out great. So that was awesome to see that part of the plan just come together. So super, super excited. And we're sitting there. We probably got out there. I think we got out there fully ready. We were sat down in the blind, everything ready. Probably about 3:00 in the afternoon. I forgot the snacks. That was my job. I forgot the snacks, so that sucked. We got so hungry to where I could hear his stomach growling. It was so loud. So we made sure the next night we weren't going to do that. But anyway, we didn't see anything, saw an armadillo. So we were kind of like, shucks, that's not good. My plan was first night, to get a doe, just to get some meat, because I love some deer meat. Love it. And then so the second night, then I could be a little bit more lenient on what we see. So, but it's okay. I mean, it all works out. And then so first night didn't see anything. And then I was like, okay, well, we're only going to be here one more day. So what should I do? Should we go in the morning? Just go at night? So I told him, I was like, hey, just if you wake up in the morning to go, call me. If I don't answer, that's your answer for if I'm going to go or not. And, vice versa. Well, he ended up never calling. We both ended up sleeping in, so we didn't go that morning. Then we went that evening about the same time, different spot. And we're sitting there probably about 4:35. bunch of turkeys come up in front of the feeder. Um, a big old herd. Me and him were looking at each other like, man, we sure it ain't turkey season? We sure we can't just get one of these old gobblers? Get one of these beard draggers? But no, it's not turkey season yet. Gosh. So they were hanging around for a while. We were like, dang, are they ever going to go away? And we're like, well, we hope they're not spooking the deer right now. Well, then they end up wandering off, not too far. I could still see them off to the right, back a ways in the woods. So they weren't too far, but they weren't really around anymore. And then we we started hearing these shots. I think 3 or 4 shots went off within a period of an hour. And we're like, he looked at me and he's like, "Oh, they're running tonight." I was like, "Well, I hope they run this away." And so we're sitting there. I end up falling asleep like this with football playing in my lap. He's next to me, bent down, on his phone, not paying. None of us are paying attention. All of a sudden, here, I look up, and there's 2 does, their butts running away from us. And I was like, oh, whatever. And I was like, dang, I hope they come back. He's like, oh, they'll probably come back. Well, a little while after that, I'd say like 10, 20 minutes after, I look up and there's a doe, walking in front of us. And at this point, it's like 6:30. So the sun is starting to go down. There's still enough for me to see, but it's kind of like now or never, I mean, we probably could have waited to see if something else came, but I was just like, no, I just want meat. That's what I want. I just want meat. So we she walks out in front of us sideways and she's stomping, looking right at us, stomping. And me and him were oh no. So, we're like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Please don't get spooked. Now, mind you, the whole time before that, the turkeys they acted like we weren't even there. So we're like, okay, that's a good sign because, usually turkeys have better senses than the deer do. But she's looking at us, looking at us, looking at us. Eventually, she calms down. She walks, puts her butt in our face, walking away. So we're getting the gun ready. We go up. I'm like, go up to put my hand up to the gun. And then I start having a spasm. I start shaking. Now, mind you, the whole time, this has not happened beforehand or anything. So I'm spazzing real bad. He starts laughing and he grabs my hand to make it stop. And then she turns and she's looking at us, so we just kind of freeze for a little bit. And then she ends up walking into the woods a little bit. So I'm like looking down in the scope. Can't really see her because she's in the woods. So he's like, just wait, just wait. Well, she ends up walking broadside in front of the feeder and lined it up. Set her down where she stood, son. She wasn't getting up. So that was awesome. Me and him were both pumped because, I mean, that's a huge feat. Everything that we did, it was just awesome. We were super excited. Still love it. Want to go back. Trying to go. Have my uncle take me to Kentucky. Get me a Kentucky deer. So hopefully we can do that this year. If not, there's always next year. And then hopefully I can shoot a turkey this year too up in GA or in the springtime. So we'll see how that goes. But it was super, super exciting. Had a great time. So a lot of firsts this past week and a half, a lot of firsts. Super happy about that. I'll put the video. Hopefully the video doesn't get shut down. But we took a video of me pulling the deer out of the woods with my track chair. So that's pretty cool. We had a lot of fun. So yeah, a lot of firsts. Um, so I usually close my videos out or each episode saying keep over adapting and undercoming. I don't know if you guys realize that. And yeah, you're probably like, what? That makes no sense. Well, let me give you a little background of why I say it and kind of how it came about. So, with the injury, we're always having to overadapt, or we're always having to adapt, right, and overcome some kind of situation, whatever it is. Just and it's just little things like how to get in the bathroom, or I don't know, uh, maybe how do I get into a restaurant? So just stuff like that. We're always having to adapt and overcome. Well, there was one day I was going outside and I was just like, I said it wrong. Underadapt and overcome. So that's kind of what this story is behind that. Just one day we were joking around and I was like, you just got to keep underadapting and overcoming. So that was that's kind of how that came about. And so when you guys hear me say that, that's what I mean is, just keep working hard, keep trying to be better than you were before, and when situations present themselves to you, to find a way to overcome them, how to beat them. Don't be broken down, be built up, right? Little motivation for you. So I appreciate everyone who watches one. I had a lot of fun answering questions. We'll keep doing it. I love uh, just talking about the situation, stuff that I have to do, daily life, or what changes have had to happen because of the injury, and so I'm an open book. I think probably the most open book that there is out of a lot of people around in this world. I truly have no shame in anything. So you guys, please feel free to ask any questions. I mean, any questions. I do not care. Okay, I don't get offended. I haven't met anyone who's offended me yet. So you guys feel free and don't feel like it's too weird. I mean, if it's too weird for you, that's okay, but it's not going to feel weird to me. I know people have questions. I know people are just also intrigued and curious. We're naturally curious people. So you guys just keep asking questions. Um, like I said, I'm an open book, so don't feel bad about having a thought, or a question. It's not bad. I promise you. You're not a terrible person for wondering, about this or that. Okay. If anyone tries to make you feel that way, tell them to get out of here. And, oh, and again, huge shout out to Stellar Designs and Two Girls and Their Mom for the hats and their support. You guys are awesome. And if you guys are interested in some hats, we'll post some pictures of, the hats that Stellar Designs made us. This is one of them. And then the hats that, Two Girls and Their Mom made for us. But if you guys are interested in hats, you guys let me know. Just comment down below. Just comment the word hats or DM me the word hats. And then we can get a feel of, how much to make. And if you guys like these styles of hats, let me know. We'll get it set up and we'll get it figured out how to get you guys some. And as always, keep over adapting and overcoming, baby.